All right. Hey guys, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right into it. This is graphing absolute value functions. We want to graph each equation according to the absolute value thingy. So, you don't need to know this, but absolute value is actually, it doesn't have to be like a V thing. It could be like a couple different things. And also, it is kind of like a piecewise function. So if you guys have already talked about piecewise functions, it is technically a piecewise function, but you don't need any of that stuff. You might need it later on when you guys start like putting together the fact that like piecewise is a thing and the fact that like absolute value is a thing and like smashing those together. But for right now, all you need is basically all you need when you're graphing a parabola, right? So if I have a parabola, let's say y equals x minus, let's do the same one as number one, right? So for jumping into number one, x minus 2 squared minus 4. Well, when it's in this form, 2 comma negative 4 is the vertex. 2 comma negative 4 is the vertex. So the vertex is always the opposite of the number in the parentheses, comma the number outside the parentheses, or in this case, the absolute value bars, which are basically parentheses. And that's how you graph the parabola. When you graph a parabola, you want to start with the vertex. So you would go, okay, 2 comma negative 4, which would be right here. And then you would just, make a parabola. Well, here we're going to, not make a parabola because it's not a parabola. It's kind of like a parabola, though, because it has a vertex, and it goes out to the left and out to the right. But by how much? Well, that depends on the slope. So there's an a term in front here, which, in this case it was 1. But whatever a is, that's kind of the slope for a parabola, but then it like kind of curves. But the number in front right here, notice there's no number right there, but that would be m. So if you don't see a number, it's a 1, right? Remember, ones are ninjas. If you don't see a number there, it's a 1. Okay? So the slope is 1 in both directions, meaning it's like 1 and negative 1. So we go like this, kind of out this way, with a slope of 1, right? Rise 1, run 1. And we go the other direction with that, right? Sorry, that wasn't a really good drawing there. You go up 1 over 1 in the left direction, which would be like negative 1. So it's a slope of 1 and negative 1. You go slope of 1 out one way diagonally and a slope of 1 out the other way diagonally. Maybe that's a better way to think about it. And that's pretty much it. So we'll see if it gets harder from here, but that's it. You start with the vertex, which is the opposite of the number in the parentheses, in the absolute value bar parentheses. I'm just going to call them parentheses from here on out, because that's basically what they are. So the opposite of the number inside the parentheses with the x, comma the number outside the parentheses. And earlier when I said if you don't see a number, it's a 1, that's like mostly true. If you don't see a number, it could also be a 0. And that's what's happening for number 2. There's no number outside, so that means I'm adding nothing. Adding 0 doesn't change anything, and multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. So the slope is still 1. 1 times something doesn't change it. Slope is 1. The y-intercept, or the vertex of this absolute value function is going to be negative 1, right? The opposite of 1 is negative 1, comma 0. So that's the number outside there, right here. Slope is 1, so I go this way, like that, and then this way. And there we go. There's number 2. So it's not that bad, actually. You just find the vertex, and then you find the slope. You need the vertex and the slope. Those are the 2 key things. Okay, so the vertex, let me write this in a different color here. The vertex is going to be hk, and then the slope is m. Right, so the vertex, and slope, which slope is normally m for a line anyways. So here's the formula then. It's going to be y equals m, and then x minus h plus k. Alright, so this is like all fancy looking now, Got a lot of letters. Don't let that throw you off, though. This is the form that I would put it in. All right, this might not necessarily be how your teacher writes it. They might use different letters or put things in different places. So if they do it a little differently, then I would just go off of that because, you know, they're the ones grading you on your upcoming test or quiz. So go off of that one. But this is helpful because the number in front of the absolute value bar is going to be your slope. The opposite of the number in the parentheses is your x part of your vertex, and then the number outside is your y part of your vertex. And that's all you need, really, for all of these. You just need the vertex and then the slope. Vertex is going to be, well, what's being added or subtracted inside the parentheses. 0, comma, 1. So right there. And the slope is 1 again. So I go like that, and like that. And there we go. And then pretty much the same exact thing for number 4, except the vertex is 0, comma 2. Right? It's x minus nothing it's just x. So h is 0, k is 2, 0, comma 2, and the slope is 1 again. Right? So just like that. And that's it. All right, number 5. So let's change colors again. This is something that I normally do anyways for these videos. By the way, this is part of a series. So if you haven't seen any other videos in this series yet, I highly recommend checking them out. When this series is done, I'll have every single math worksheet, at least every single math worksheet that's put out by Kuta software, available. So you can just look at any math topic in Algebra 1 and be able to figure out how to do it, because there's a whole worksheet on it and me explaining it as I go, coming up with helpful formulas for you, all kinds of cool stuff. So negative 2 comma 0 is the vertex here. Slope is 1. So I go like that, and then like that. All right. So far the slope has only ever been 1. I'm assuming it will be something other than 1 eventually, but let's see. So the opposite of 1 is negative 1, comma 3. So there's my vertex. Negative 1, comma 3. So that's right there. Slope is 1 again. So I just go like that. And like that. And that's it. All right. We're already on to the next page here. So I'm going to go to number 7. Sorry, I had to scroll a little bit. I'm scrolling with my hands here, so just doing everything with my hands. The slope is not 1 anymore. There's something in front of the thing. See that? There's a negative sign. Okay? And remember, if there wasn't anything, it was a 1. So now that there's a negative, it's like negative what? Well, negative 1. So the slope now is negative 1. Oh, okay. Well, the slope was already like positive and negative, but when the slope is negative, that means the graph's going to be going down. It's an upside down V. Let's so we have the slope, but we need the vertex first though. So let's first things first. It's going to be the opposite of negative 2, right? It's the opposite of the number. The number's minus 2, aka negative 2. So the opposite of that is 2, and then the number outside is negative 2. All right, so 2, negative 2. It's right here. The slope is negative 1 though. We're going to be going down. We're going to be going down this time. This is the first time the slope has not been 1. Finally. I was getting kind of bored with that slope there. Come on, guys. A little bit of variability. Okay. So then the opposite of 1 is negative 1, comma 4, right there. Slope is negative again, so we're going to go down again. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. And you don't have to draw the graph all the way out. You can just do that kind of thing. That's a terrible looking arrow. I don't know what that is. So yeah, you don't have to have the arrow go all the way outside the graph necessarily, as long as it, you know, touches at least like 3 points or so. Then you're probably fine. All right, next two, looks like we have negative 1 slopes again. So nothing really that new here. Let's go ahead and change colors. Negative 4, comma 2. That's my vertex. And we're going down. Right? And again, I don't need to go all the way across the graph. You can just go past a few points, and that's probably fine. Unless your teacher specifically said so, and then, you know. So then the vertex is the opposite of negative 1, 1, comma 1. And the slope is negative 1 again. Right, so I'm going to do that. And that. And And that's it. So far, they haven't thrown anything new at us, so that's why I'm going a little bit faster now. No point in going super slow through the whole thing. If we've already done some of this stuff here, they haven't changed the form or changed the slope yet. They haven't done anything crazy to us, so there we go. There's the vertex and -1 slope again. Yawn. Number 12. Let's see if they do anything interesting coming up after this, at least. 1, -1. Slope's right here. Okay, and then, or the vertex, I should say. And then the slope is -1. Again. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that was it. All right, yeah. So the slope can be other things besides 1 and -1. I promise. But in this case, it was not. So I think they're going to have a more complicated version of this after this one. But stay tuned for that, right? Yeah, and that's it. So if you wanted to see more videos like this, I have a ton of other videos in this playlist. I'll have a link to the playlist. It should be popping up in one of the downward places at the bottom of the video. And then also, if you need, if you have like a suggestion for another video, throw that in the comments below. If you would like to maybe, have a guide on like how to get math problems right all the time, I actually made a guide on that. It's called the 5 math mistakes everyone makes and how to avoid them. The 5 most common ways that people mess up math problems and how you can, not mess them up. So if you want to start getting math problems right, and this is general, this is very general, it's not specific to Algebra 1. If you're in any math class, this can be helpful to you. So if that's something that sounds interesting, you can check that out. That's in the description below, as well as my email if you would like to sign up for a free 1-hour session of tutoring via Zoom and a web whiteboard. And you can see if tutoring is something that you want to do as well. And with that, we're out of here. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one real soon.